In the heartland of North America sprawls the vast city that was their destination, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Soon they would be moving down one of the broad boulevards, and amid the proud skyscrapers, they would feel the pace of a city on the move. Famous above all for its gigantic flour mills, it has its reflective side, too. Cultural and aesthetic values are mirrored in the many churches, art museums, fine educational institutions. A city, then, with respect for the past, eyes on the future. By airplane they came to the city, or from the perimeter of the continent over the clickety-clack of the rails. Outstanding young men from over 90 nations and territories of the world.
The least you could do, Jasper, is to help me carry some of this. Terry needs it for his invention.
That's ridiculous. Terry can't invent anything.
You're just jealous because his machine is going to work.
I am not.
Jasper is jealous. Jasper is jealous.
I'm jealous, too. All this time I've been trying to steal ideas from Jasper, and Terry's got the sharp head. Oof! It's a cinch my head isn't sharp anymore.
One of the Air Force's spacemen of tomorrow finds the going rough while still on Earth. He's going through reaction tests at Wright Air Development Center, up and down on the 30-foot vertical accelerator. Then onto the vibration table for an artificially applied case of the jitters. Through the breathing apparatus is measured the effects on the lungs and other organs of this working over. The actual moon flight may be a milk run in comparison. His next stop is the heat chamber. The simulated space pilot wears a new MC2 full-pressure suit, which is designed to keep his immediate environment livable under the fantastic extremes of pressure and temperature that will be met in space flight. At 160 degrees on the thermometer, the pilot is still reasonably comfortable. Another piece of vital equipment is proved out, and preparations go forward for the day when man will venture into space.
Every businessman likes to think of mushrooming profits. The Naust brothers suit actions to the words in the world's largest mushroom farm, which is also the world's largest underground farm, 600 feet below New York's Catskill Mountains. It's almost a mushroom mine. The workers, who mostly wear miner's lamps to pierce the gloom that their crop favors, harvest an average of 20 tons of mushrooms a day. The cave's steady 55-degree temperature is perfect for the tasty fungi. The harvest is trucked to the cannery for processing as quickly as possible after picking. Mushrooms were once a costly delicacy. Today, production is, well, mushrooming. And here in the Hudson River Valley, it looks like they've struck a rich new lode in that abandoned limestone mine. There's gold in them thar mushrooms.
Laying a mattress for the Mississippi, the Army Corps of Engineers is attempting to halt riverbank cave-ins and erosion. Each shore must be graded before the concrete mattresses can be put down. The mass of equipment contrasts sharply with the meager tools of India's flood fighters. At Vicksburg, a traveling mat boat spreads the bulky mattress made up of thousands of sections. Starting high on the bank, the prefabricated concrete cover stretches down into the deepest part of the river. Into the night, the engineers lay the mats, sometimes to a depth of 100 feet beneath the surface. Stretching mile after mile, a concrete shield to guard against floods on the mighty Mississippi.
And there are special forces working with the opposition who are working the cave complex.
Quick follow-up, if I may, General. Can you describe for us the so-called cave buster weapon now that's being used and being dropped by strike aircraft? How it differs from the bunker buster?
To my mind, there is no difference. What you have is 500-pound, 1,000-pound, and 2,000-pound bombs that are being very precisely guided into the caves, into the openings. So, if you want to call that a cave buster or a bunker buster, that's what you can call it. But it's a 2,000-pound bomb.
Mr. Secretary.
October 23rd, started up the trail with two. You heard Kumataya, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay, Kumataya, yippee, yippee, yay. Well, I put in the stirrup and my hat pushed back. I can ride any horse that ever made a track. Kumataya, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay, Kumataya, yippee, yippee, yay. A stray in the herd and the boss said kill it, so I hit it in the neck with a long handle skillet. Kumataya, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay, Kumataya, yippee, yippee, yay. I'll sell my outfit soon as I can. I won't punch cows for no darn man. Kumataya, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay, Kumataya, yippee, yippee, yay. I'm a-going into town to draw my money, and I'm going on down to see my honey. Kumataya, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay, Kumataya, yippee, yippee, yay.
It's all right, boys. It's Ann. Gray rode out of the valley yesterday with a bulging saddlebag. When he came back, it was empty.
Well, that should mean that he met Brandon and divided some loot.
Yeah, and I've an idea that Brandon will be on his way to the bank at El Paso around sunup. Jim, give me my gun and things. If possible.
And there are dreamers. Waldo Autry's imagination takes him beyond gravity and common sense on a truly magical ride.
Welcome to New York City Technology Expo 96. This is the first city-sponsored event to showcase the latest graffiti removal techniques, new technologies, new methods, innovative strategies. It helps fight graffiti, and hopefully you'll pick up some ideas here and contribute some of your own. It's really an indication of your enthusiasm, your dedication, and your desire to remove graffiti from this city. And we need that because this is a problem that has developed over a long, long period of time. For 25 years, not only in New York City, but throughout our nation, this destructive plague has defaced and damaged public and private property. You see it when you move around the United States and New York City. Whole neighborhoods have been scarred by spray paint vandals. Even historic landmarks and monuments have been disfigured. Right here in New York City, you can see it with some of our landmark buildings and very important historical monuments destroyed by vandals spraying paint on it and treating this property as if they had no respect for it at all. Wherever graffiti happens and occurs, really the community suffers. Because above and beyond the fact that it's an act of vandalism and it's destruction of someone else's property, it also says something very symbolic. Where you see a lot of graffiti, you know you have a community that doesn't respect the law and doesn't respect the rights of other people. You know you have a community in which there are a significant number of people who do not believe in the concept that you have to respect the property rights and other rights of other human beings. So what you know is you have a community that is somewhat out of control. That's what graffiti says to people. Sometimes it says it to them directly, sometimes it says it to them on a deeper psychological level, but by and large it also reflects a lot of other lawlessness and a lot of other disrespect for the rights of others that are going on. It also costs billions and billions of dollars nationally to prevent graffiti and to clean it up. It's a terrible, terrible waste, because that money could be put to a lot better use, to help children, to help people, to improve society, and to do things that are useful. For years, we've heard all kinds of excuses about graffiti. Some people tried to tell us that graffiti is art. Vandalizing someone's property is not art, it's a crime. Some people said that we should ignore it. If we ignore it, it'll go away. It didn't go away. We've been ignoring it for 20, 25 years in this city, and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. When I became mayor, I said, no more excuses. We're going to have to stop, and we're going to have to turn this around. Much like turning around all of the other problems of this city, it can't happen all at once. 25 years of having graffiti out of control can't be turned around in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. But we can make a lot of progress each year. And as we're making progress, the whole spirit of the city kind of lifts, because people now see a city that is less vandalized than it was the year before, less scarred with graffiti than the year before. This morning, I was up early and I was walking around up where I live on the east side of Manhattan, and I was looking at the sanitation trucks, John. I saw about 8 of them before I left to come here. Not a single bit of graffiti on any one of the 8 sanitation trucks. Not a single bit. And that was very different a year ago, and very different and even worse 2 years ago.
Mr. Rutter identified a program that's you will see very shortly in subways and buses. There's a contest to see which piece of Lenin, Nevada, PS-250 runs to their art teachers clear, Michael, PS-98, PS-75 box, and PS-70, PS-73. When they run, they get the wrong thing. Civilian Participation Program sponsors the Second Chance Task Force in cooperation with the 114 and the 108 precincts and the Queens DA's office. The task force is comprised of first-time offenders performing mandated community service for misdemeanor crimes. And since its inception, the CAP task force has eradicated graffiti from over 5,250 locations in over 135. Negative, impact.
Yeah, what do you say inside? You all right? Okay. Look at all those people down there. Gee, I'm glad I'm up here where it's not so hot and crowded. Look at all them people down there, them jaywalkers. God, they take awful chances. Yes, it is kind of cool up here. You're away from all the heat. I think I'll test these joints. Yes, I'll let you know how they are in just a minute. Well, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Although that was a pretty bad winter we had. But there's some of them we could take out. Yeah, I'll repaint them all over again. I'll lift them over in general while I'm up here anyway. Look at all those people down there. Gee, I'm glad I'm up here. It's not so hot and crowded. Yes. They're pretty good.
He's got the motor on now. If it's okay, give him one long flash on the AO light. We are now looking directly down on Lower Broadway. Those ant-like creatures that you see moving on the streets are people. You are now glancing directly down at Lower Broadway. Those little ant-like creatures that you see moving down there are people. Well, folks, here we are on top of the Woolworth Building, the tallest of its type in the world. Glancing down on the extreme right, we view the Whitehall Building, flanked on the left by the Kennard Building. In the immediate foreground is the Singer Building, one of the most dominating buildings of Lower Broadway. Turning to the left, we view the famous Wall Street district. The Equitable Building may be distinguished by the smoke coming out of its top. In this building, there are... damn it. Get that squeak. Well, folks, here we are on top of the Woolworth Building, the tallest of its type in the world. Glancing down on the extreme right, we view the Whitehall Building, flanked on the left by the Kennard Building. In the immediate foreground is the Singer Building, one of the most dominating buildings of Lower Broadway. Going further to the left, we view the famous Wall Street district. The building with the smoke coming out of it is the Equitable Building. This building houses a sufficient number of people to make up a small town. The impressive structure directly in front of us is that of the Bell Telephone Company. This is one of the most gigantic buildings in the world, wherein the destinies of all of our telephone calls are directed. In the distance, we see the uptown skyline of New York City, that section which is known as the crossroads of the world. In the background is the Lower East Side, while directly before you is the Municipal Building where all the boys and girls go to secure their marriage licenses. In the background is the Lower East Side, while directly before you is the Municipal Building where all the boys and girls go to secure their marriage licenses. In the background is the Lower East Side, while directly in front of us we see the Municipal Building, where all the boys and girls go to secure their marriage licenses. On the left is the Manhattan Bridge, while on the right is the Brooklyn Bridge where the cars are passing over. Across the river are the skyscrapers of Brooklyn, which are rapidly approaching both in number and in size those of New York.
The blue clay seen oozing out of the face of the steel shield which you see before you is coming in at the rate of 4,000 pounds per minute while it is being shoved forward by 200-ton hydraulic pressure. For each 30 inches or width of one ring of blocks, a quantity of 112,000 pounds of clay is taken into the tunnel and then hauled to the dump. This tunnel, which is 15 feet inside diameter and 60 feet under the city streets, is being constructed for the purpose of the Ford Motor Company to give the Rouge plant an uninterrupted supply of cold, clean water for its powerhouse and various manufacturing requirements. This tunnel consists of an intake where the water is screened of floating materials. 12,000 feet of concrete-lined block tunnel and its elaborate connection to the present Ford underground water system at the Ford powerhouse. The operator is now shown opening the hydraulic valve which allows the erector to swing into its position. By the movement of a second valve, the erector is allowed to place the block in position. The unscrewing of the dogs which hold the block provide for release of the erector, and the key block is now shown in position. This view shows the placing of the last block, which forms the key block in a ring of 10 concrete precast blocks. After the placing of this ring, the empty boxes are now going forward to the shield for its load of mud. Here comes a loaded box weighing approximately 5,900 pounds. 440 of these boxes are loaded and unloaded per 24-hour day.
All right. Mr. Healy, don't you really believe this is the best type of tunnel that may be constructed?
I frankly believe that the method of tunnel construction, which you have just seen, is the last word, not only in cost and speed, but also durability.
Sideways, right in.
Talk at an angle like this.
This view shows one of the precast air-cured concrete blocks being brought in from the surface on railroad car. The first operation in connection with the erection of the concrete block is to unload same from car. The concrete block is then lowered to the lower part of the shield in position for the hydraulic erector to take hold of. The men are now shown operating the erector, which consists of a arm with dogs on the end for gripping the block. This operation is a simple one and consists only of screwing into place the dogs which engage pockets in the block These blocks form a circle of 15 feet inside diameter, each block weighing approximately 3,400 pounds. The erector is now placing the block in its proper location in the tunnel wall.
escape this powerful network of law enforcement agencies. From the 4 divisions of police investigators, we present first the Crime Division, in which particularly well-trained men are assigned to specialize in uncovering crimes of larceny, auto theft, checks for theft, as it is commonly called. Generally, thefts are committed by amateurs and are difficult to trace unless the owners refrain from destroying possible evidence and act promptly to call police. Professional thieves eventually are caught, frequently trapped because of their very consistent operations. As this motion picture acquaints you with the various police departments, remember that each department is ready to help you at all times. As the chart will show, crimes of larceny are lower in St. Paul than is usual in the average large American city, but a better record certainly is possible, such as the sharp reduction in automobile thefts, accomplished because of public indignation against car thieves. The passing of laws which make interstate transportation of stolen cars a federal offense, and the introduction of two-way radio and fast statewide police communication have cut in half the number of stolen cars. St. Paul's experience compares very favorably with the average of other cities. More than $6,700 of stolen merchandise was located in pawn shops in 1940 and returned to the rightful owners. Supervision of pawn shops is an important function of the group of detectives especially trained for the work. When one human being takes the life of another, either intentionally or through inexcusable carelessness, in such crimes as murder or manslaughter while driving under the influence of liquor or dope, the homicide squad undertakes the solution of the crime and the arrest of the criminals. Happily, such occurrences are rare in St. Paul, and in recent years, practically all killings of this nature have been solved and the killers punished. Burglary is forceful entrance with intent to rob or damage property. Most crimes of this nature can be prevented if property owners will provide good locks, strong doors, and locked windows. Families who leave their homes unoccupied during absences from the city should notify police, who will inspect the home daily. In 1940, of 840 unoccupied homes where police were notified in advance, not one was burglarized. Police women always interview girls or women who have been molested by sex perverts. The services of police women are very helpful after occasions of this nature, and their careful investigations help in locating and arresting the offenders. Don't hesitate to call police when mashers force their attention. Prompt action may prevent tragic consequences. We present next the Morals Division of Police Investigators, who battle against commercial vice, the foundation of organized crime. In commercial, by cooperating gambling, happy-go-lucky citizens, otherwise well-respected, with the cards stacked against them, in games of chance sacrifice a large percentage of their money, which then goes to line the pockets of gangsters and to finance their rackets. The Moral Squad enforces the laws against gambling, supervises places licensed to sell liquor, and constantly raids disorderly houses which appear from time to time. These places are uprooted as fast as they become known, whether they are just small dives or elaborate establishments. And with national agencies, the constant drive against dope peddlers and narcotic addicts is maintained. Also, a special division of the Moral Squad uncovers the sale of offensive magazines and prosecutes the distributors of sensational publications. The 4th Detective Division handles juvenile delinquency, and several policewomen and counselors assist in this important crime prevention begins with character training in the home. Rare is the criminal who the county attorney and his staff, working with police detectives, prepare cases for court trial. And in 1940, as a result of their detailed preparation, 1,178 out of 1,186 court cases resulted in conviction of the defendants. The grand jury scrutinizes the operation of police to ensure fair treatment of those arrested, and each defendant has the constitutional right of trial by a petty jury, supervised by district and municipal judges elected by the citizens.
not the funniest paper. Oh, Joe goes by himself now. Oh, boy. Jesus. Nice and easy. It's none of it goes free. Look at it. You didn't have to trip up on a place on that bucket like that, did you? Get out of here.
can have trouble with walls. You take what happened to Jimmy Mitchell here last night.
Water and wet waste must be taken care of another way. This waste drains into pipes which go under the floor of the house and out to the street. Here the house pipes empty into larger pipes. These larger pipes are called sewers. We lay sewer pipes underneath our streets and then cover them over. But we leave openings called manholes so we can make sure the wastewater is flowing freely through the sewer. This manhole is dry. The sewer must be clogged up. To open the sewer, we use a special machine. It has a steel drill at the end of a long rod. The rod runs through a hose, which is put into the clogged up sewer. The machine pushes the rod through the hose and into the clogged sewer pipe. It opens up the sewer by twisting and forcing the drill all the way through.